pew 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 pew. That was basically the last game. It was just tons of like micro and battle and firing and repairing and dying and bringing back to life. There probably wasn't too much of that, but I'm sure it was like in there somewhere with the SCVs repairing themselves. Anyhow, that last game was just like crazy action the whole time, but we really didn't see like, you know, the strengths and the weaknesses with both players. I mean, maybe the strengths of HuK and that like he is the most disgusting micro ever. Or in ThorZaIN, you know, that he has pretty good all-ins. I like that. So now let's hopefully see a better macro game, because I think these players really can duke it out. I think they got like, you know, it's just gonna be like an awesome back and forth game. I really think that's what's gonna happen, because now he's not gonna all in, hopefully, and it's gonna be awesome. So let's see. I'll see you there.
Alrighty, it's game 2 between LiquidHuK and this guy. This blue Terran spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. His name? I have her over. Yep, mouzThorZaIN. ThorZaIN with the capital T-Z-I-N. I'm not really curious. When I was typing his name into that little box you see in the bottom right-hand window, I was like, what letters does ThorZaIN make capital? The T, the Z, the I, and the N. Felt like such a random set of numbers, but it does look really cool, so go him. Anyhow, opponent in the bottom left, they're not cross-positioned, so maybe not that big macro game I was hoping for. LiquidHuK with his nasty probe micro that I want to see more of. We'll have to see. Oh, look, it was that probe. I want to like pretend I'm these players. Let's see. Let's see how pro I am. See how pro. I'm right-clicking. All right, will I make the probe at what? He's not making a probe. Oh, I'm more pro than HuK. He made his probe late. He made it at 75 minerals. Hell yeah. All right, anyhow. See, even you'll be like, oh my god, like that's such a big deal. And it kind of is a big deal, but it's not really that big of a deal because they're so pro it doesn't even matter. I'd love to see HuK lose because of that little probe. It's like one, just like, what the hell? He's not, oh, he's building a 12 gate. Maybe it was all intentional, because I can't see how a late probe is intentional though, even if you're going for a 12 gate. Anyhow, maybe he's gonna do like an MC style 40 gate. It's his turn to cheese. LiquidHuK. All right. Well, that probe's heading out to scout. Let's take a look at what our friend ThorZaIN is up to. He building a barracks and setting the rally point to this position to block off this guy. And I love one of the things that's so great that, you know, that just not enough people do. I only started doing it even recently, and it really does make a huge help. Even though I'm a Zerg player, it just gives me better map awareness of what my opponent can and can't see if they have the Zelnaga tower. You run your unit in the scouting, well, like in the scouting patterns at the beginning, run them past the Zelnaga tower, and look, hey, you get this nice fog of war. Like if you look in the mini map, you see it especially well, and you know where your opponent is able to see and where the threshold of their capability limitations. That didn't make any sense. Oh god. Alright, so cybernetics core going down right now, and gas, good old Vespine. Look at this quick command center from ThorZaIN. He ain't messing around. He's like, I cheesed you last time, and this time I shall one racks expand. I expect you not to cheese me. So if HuK does 4 gate, that'd be kind of cool. I don't think he's going to, but it'd be sweet. He'd be in a really nice position. So he is chrono boosting out a Stalker in all likelihood. Yes, the Stalker is out to fire its dual cannon lasers upon the dual cannon jetpacks of that SCV. But the SCV's jetpacks are faster, and he's gone. I don't actually think... Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Something about Stalkers and SCV speed, but I kind of just give up. So this probe gonna turn around. He's like, what's that noise? He's like, I can see you, Marines. All right. Oh wait, there we go. Okay, so we do see warp gate research is like about a third of the way down now, and he's warping in a sentry. And you know, sentry is great against like your opponent's going for like this one base aggression, but I'm really curious why he's putting it over here. That to me is quite interesting. Maybe it's to hide this sentry. Probably to hide the sentry. I don't know why he needs to hide the sentry. I mean, I guess, you know, prevent your opponent from having further scouting capabilities and information. You know, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna hide my sentry. Well, now I could be teching for all you know. But he's continuing to hide these sentries in the corner, and looks like he's getting ready to warp a Nexus. Yeah, definitely. 400 minerals. And there goes the Nexus. So, I mean, guess seeing these sentries, you know, with a sneaky SCV would inform him that he's likely to expand, but I don't know. I don't really know where he's going with that. So this Stalker is just chilling out. You see, he's got that shield regenerating, so you know he's been poking up Yep, little damage on that bunker. He's like, oh, I can shoot you and I can walk away and it's free. Kind of like free coupons, except they're free damage coupons. So both players just starting to macro up somewhat. You know, 1 gate expand out of LiquidHuK and a 1 Rax command center out of ThorZaIN. So pretty straight up, I'm gonna macro harder than you game so far, and let's see who really can pull it off. Warp Gates has wrapped up for Huck. He's got a lot of Chrono Boost. So I'm wondering what he's saving all this Chrono Boost for. Perhaps it is for the gateways. And he Chrono Boosted something. He's Chrono Boosting his Nexus. So that makes me wonder why he didn't want to do it earlier. Maybe he was saving the Chrono Boost in case, you know, he hasn't been able to actually see the command center. So, you know, it's a possibility that bunker's just there and he's just pretending to have a command center. So Huck saved that Chrono Boost with his 1 gate expand in case there was pressure from ThorZaIN. And now that he's realizing, okay, you haven't pressured me, we're hitting the 7-minute mark, you're letting me just hang out on this Elnaga, it's very likely you actually do have an expansion, even though I haven't actually seen it yet. Which I wonder if this is a robo. Yeah, so he's getting this observer out to actually, you know, see that expansion and see what's going on. But now he feels comfortable Chrono Boosting his probes. So he's doing exactly that. He's got these sentries in just this awesome position where they do absolutely nothing. And I mean, I guess now at this point in the game, they're like nice if he comes in with a dropship. And he keeps selecting them, so he's well aware that they're there. I mean, take a look. Up. He's like, I'm gonna select my sentries every quarter of a second. Up sentry, and sentry again. And set sentry, up, the gateway sentry, robo, sentry, robo, high, but I can't even keep up. This guy's insane. LiquidHuK, 274 APM. Come on. Come on. Can't you go any faster than that? You're insane. Michael Phelps of StarCraft right here. Alright, so, making an observer. And he's already got, I was wondering why it wasn't being Chrono Boosted. That's because he already has one en route to his opponent's base. And I'd expect ThorZaIN to be on the lookout for this. I mean, 9 minutes into the game, you can expect an observer to be rolling in by this point, if he's not already there. So, yeah, ThorZaIN throwing out supply depots. What's he actually doing, though? He is making a lot of Marauders. And now Huck sees this, so I would not be surprised if we see him throw down a Twilight Council to go for charge locks, because Stalkers ain't gonna work too well. And Colossi are very effective. Yep, there goes the... Oh, look, that doesn't look so cloaked when it's laying in pieces. Somehow it must break when it is broken. That kind of makes sense. Alright, another Observer coming out, and this one's gonna hide in the front. And I think Huck's gonna be a lot more careful. Yeah, stop. Okay, good. He's going to be a lot more careful with this observer so that it doesn't get shot so easily. So he is well aware the army is moving out. We'll see these sentries move in a better position. And warping in a few stalkers here. With this Colossus, I don't know. This is a pretty scary force from ThorZaIN. So he's going to have to lay down some excellent force fields and really just buy himself some time. He's got 6 gateways, actually. So he's going to be able to make a very gateway-heavy force. He just needs to buy time. Right now, he does not have enough. He needs to chrono out this second Colossus, which he's doing. He really wants thermal upgrades to be finished, and it looks like ThorZaIN's just going to bypass the capabilities of a wall-off. Nope, he is dropping back down. And look at Huck sitting on the high ground, anticipating that drop. So, really, he's not going to let anything get up here via drop. If anything tries to come inside, he's just going to wall it off immediately. Oh, look at walling off these forces inside that pocket. What an excellent move. And a full medevac goes down. What excellent force moves once again. Look at all those Marines getting trapped. LiquidHuK laying down sick moves. Oh, that was awesome. Even chasing out in the field a little. I don't know about this engagement. I mean, Huck's definitely going to come out with you know, killing all of these units, but chasing it down there may or may not have been the best decision. He definitely lost a lot of units there, and he essentially just got free kills there. Like, killing those free units over there, like, yeah, Huck came out a little on top of the entire engagement, killing 4 units, and see, this is a good engagement for Huck. But basically what I'm trying to say, before there is like a huge engagement outside ThorZaIN's base, which Huck is still moving in. No, this is just fake pressure. He's not bringing out anything for proxy pylon. Maybe get a free supply depot, but basically just trying to utilize the fact that, hey, I have shields, so I get free damage. Let's do that. So I really like this from Huck. You know, he knows, oh, you can't chase me down with a billion Marauders because I killed them all. So I'm just gonna get some 30 hits in here. not like you did any damage to me. There's like a stalker here that got a little in the yellow, and that's basically it. That's all the damage you took. So I really like this hidden third to HuK. Hiding this up in the corner. PvT is such a match where like you match your opponent's economic capabilities. And I mean, if any, ThorZaIN taking out a third right now into this position, and it's gonna turn out that HuK's not really gonna be able to punish for this because he simultaneously is gonna be developing his own third base. But I like this move. I liked it because he didn't know if ThorZaIN was expanding. You know, if he found out ThorZaIN was taking a third, he'd feel much more comfortable taking his own. But I like this sneaky third. ThorZaIN also knows that, you know, HuK hasn't seen this expansion yet, or at least he suspects it. And with that, you know, he's gonna he'll expect HuK's third timing to be a lot later. So, all right, moving on. Anyways, these Colossus are just like raffle stomping all over these drones, and they're just back to the. But I'm intrigued to see a transition by HuK, and I don't really see any. Yeah, I guess it's a little early still for High Templar tech, but once he gets out more of these charge lots, I think we'll see a transition into High Templar. Oh, here it is. All right, so he does have the Twilight Council down, and he's got charge. Finished researching, so now we're going to see a lot of charge lots coming out of him because he really needs to answer to this heavy Marauder composition that ThorZaIN is throwing at him. So I think a massive amount of charge lots is going to let him do just that. And this SCV, oh my, it's going to be able, yep, definitely knows that this Nexus is here now. So nice scout by ThorZaIN there. Well aware that HuK is now also on 3 base. And that changes a lot of the dynamics because ThorZaIN would have been a lot more afraid, you know, to shell up in his base and just stay hidden. And nice scout there. Killing that observer. Not so cloaked pieces of the observer. He would have felt a lot more like, oh, I should stay on my base. HuK's still on 2 base. But now he knows HuK's on 3 base. And he even got a good look at the number of drones there. So ThorZaIN's going to feel a lot more comfortable moving out on the board with this situation. In fact, look, he's dropping down a 4th base. So ThorZaIN really wants to stay ahead on the macro game. And that attitude with a player, if you don't pay for it, can really pay off. If you end up like being, you know, the victor in the macro competition, you typically end up winning the game. So I really like ThorZaIN's playstyle so far. I'm just curious how they're doing on upgrades because yeah, okay, so he hasn't started any air upgrades or anything for the Vikings, which he does have a pretty substantial number of Vikings already. He's sitting. That's I should get used to using the unit tab instead of like manually counting. But 13 Vikings is no small number when there's only 3 Colossi on the board. That's a pretty big number of Colossi, so he'll be able to take down these Colossi really quick, but I don't know if ThorZaIN, I want to say if you should engage, but this Protoss army is actually pretty small. I feel like he needs to, I'm looking for, there's the High Templar tech, okay. Because I feel like, because of that High Templar tech, right now he's a little behind HuK because he had to transition tech-wise. Now that there's a lot of Vikings joining this composition, and there's less medevacs, you know, he's only sitting on 4 medevacs at this point. HuK can capitalize on that and make a transition into a high Templar tech, and that's exactly what he's going to do here. And he's going to pretty much stop Colossus production. He's going for the armor upgrades, which are just absolutely fantastic. When you combine them with Zealots, they're just murderers. They're just absolute murderers. So, really looking forward to a nice spread there by HuK. Definitely, if ThorZaIN moves in here, HuK is just going to get a fantastic concave. It looks like that's what's going to happen. ThorZaIN stimming in, taking out 1 pylon, and there's charge lots coming in from all sides right now, but they did not hit simultaneously. He needs to drop, if he has a storm yet. Nope, he's going to feedback on these medevacs, and it's not going to do it. The medevacs did not have enough energy, but kill him, but he is going to cause substantial damage to this Protoss, or to this Terran army. And I really like this the engagement favoring HuK. I mean, you know what? It does look like ThorZaIN actually came out with that there. I just feel like if ThorZaIN hit this really nice timing, if HuK could have managed to find a way to get storms off, but there really wasn't much he could do in that. And look at these Vikings dropping down in the back on HuK's third. ThorZaIN just doing a great job making this multi-pronged attack, which is really one of the big weaknesses of Protoss. When you make a Protoss army have to split up into pieces, as a Terran player, you're focusing on Protoss's weakness. So, yeah, I mean, take a look at what the number of units killed. Oof. Somehow HuK coming out on the positive end, but I mean, units lost tab at that point. That paints a much better picture. I'm just surprised that that ThorZaIN was able to make such an impressive. Well, I'm like looking for this word, and I like can't think of it. And I've been trying to use this word because it's like the one word I've been trying to think of for the last like 2 minutes. It's I don't even know what the word is, so I'm just gonna skip past that. We're just gonna ignore that ever happened. Or you're probably not. You're probably like, wow, this guy's like can't even come up with correct vocabulary. He should like go to English school before he keeps trying to cast games. But I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to you, naysayer of dreams. Warping into Archons here, and you know what? I feel like he's got to do that just because of the constant pressure, and especially because those units got scammed. But ThorZaIN is just not letting up here, and man, he's just not letting the Protoss get a ball of army like it needs to. And look, High Templars get picked off left and right here. This game is just not going HuK's way at all. He's really got to pull something out if he wants to come back to this. So these Vikings prove to be utterly useless. I feel like they constantly even land, and lots of wow, what a good storm there from HuK, doing so much damage to so many ThorZaIN's units, and it looks like HuK's actually going to be able to keep this up. A lot of good EMCs going down there, though. These units going to be out of shield, but with, you know what, with these Zealots coming in to reinforce, and even a further Colossus coming out. By HuK, it looks like he is transitioning back a little into Colossus play now that he's seen such a heavy transition into Ghost, and really, this is where you get that battle of like, oh, you're going to make Ghosts. Well, I'm going to make Colossus. Oh, now you're going to make Vikings? Okay, well, I'm going to make High Templars. And a lot of jumping back and forth there. But one of the advantages that Terran has that ThorZaIN's just done such an excellent job capitalizing on is when the Protoss player makes that switch from Colossi to High Templar. If you can anticipate that and hit at the perfect timing, you hit before they have Storm because there's no more Carrot and Amulet. And now you have a Protoss player where they just spent like 700 gas on these units that they can't actually really use yet. You force them to warp into Archons as he did there, and it's just a very effective way of using these actual late game timing, tech switch timing, instead of you know, where you have these early and mid game timing pushes. It's actually like a lot of times late game you don't really see timings, but that's one of the ways you can still manage to work that type of play if you so fancy timing play. Anyhow, not dropping gas on this expansion, somewhat surprising, considering, you know, he's got like a bajillion units. He's kind of capped by gas, but I guess ThorZaIN's spending every penny that he makes right now. He really knows exactly how many barracks, exactly how many starports he needs for Marine Marauder comp when he's running on 4 base. I'm really impressed by ThorZaIN's ability to spend money right now, but as both players get maxed out, they're going to want to start trading armies. And, I mean, this one of the benefits, really, that ThorZaIN's going to have here is this Marine Marauder composition doesn't have to change much. And every time they do come out, like, Ghosts don't come out with it straight up with enough energy for EMP, but they're not too far away from it. And actually, you know what, with that upgrade, they pretty much do so. An okay storm going down there, not so good storm going down there from HuK. And I don't know why he's swarming Marines and Marauder. HuK really falling apart there in terms of micro. I'm disappointed with that. So this orbital is going to land, and I really just feel like this game is going ThorZaIN's way. It really feels in control because he's getting if he's getting into this position now where like he's calling the shots on what HuK has to make. If he makes Ghost, HuK's like, oh, I have to start making Colossus again, and just being able to have like that. You're forcing your opponent to go the tech route that you want is working really well in his favor. So now he's got a bunch of Vikings, and he's got to kind of force out. Yeah, both. He's got both these High Templar and Colossus now because he's just got dealing with it excellently with Vikings and Ghosts, and even with just Colossi. Like let's say all these High Templar just like pieced out. Ghosts are still excellent against Protoss in general. EMPs work so great against force fields. So. I don't know. I mean, HuK pulling 2,000 minerals at this point. It looks like these guys are just going to start engaging. They both got a lot of money, and I think HuK just is trying to find a way to get the better end of the engagement here, using the mobility of Blink Stalkers. I really like going in, taking shots, getting out, but at one point, one of these guys is just going to engage, and it's going to be a big maintenance bet. So, a lot of buildings going down. More barracks, actually, for ThorZaIN. He's realizing, you know what? I'm starting to pull a lot of minerals here, and I want to be able to reinforce my army at just an absolutely ridiculous rate. So, ThorZaIN, I think, you know, he's going to be able to keep poking in here and just making attempts at picking off a good EMP. And the second he gets one, if he gets a sick EMP, he's just going to stim in and just do mass amounts of damage. HuK, meanwhile, you know, he'll pull off these storms, but there's only 3 medevacs, so the damage is somewhat permanent, but I'm looking at which army really can recover from these little pokes that each other's making. ThorZaIN's making these pokes where he's like, oh, I'm going to go in and try to shoot an EMP, and HuK's like, I'm going to drop a storm on you. But you know the problem? If you get a good EMP off, you know, HuK can't just be like, oh, my medevacs will fix that. Like, there's nothing Kurtoff can do, so I really like HuK spreading out all the units all over the place. These little engagements are not doing much for either player. But look at Reapers coming out right now for ThorZaIN, and I wonder what he's got in mind with this. At this point, resources aren't too much of a factor. So I'm just really interested to see where he's trying to go with this. Oh, the hips on the stalkers, actually. I don't know that I entirely agree with that. A lot of ghosts going down, and I think, actually, yeah, maybe HuK feels it too. He got the better side of these little engagements. But he is managing to snipe off a High Templar there. Sniping that observer. A lot of good sniping coming down from ThorZaIN. Here come these Reapers. And I'm really interested to see what he's planning on doing with these. Maybe getting on the high ground. If he snipes the observers and gets himself up onto the high ground, that could just turn into a big hot mess for HuK in establishing more map control. But it does look like he's going to try to go and harass the economy. But HuK's so ready for this. I mean, ThorZaIN really has no idea, I'm pretty sure, that these are there. Yeah, he has no idea whatsoever. He's like, oh, there's 1 cannon. No, there's like 9 cannons. A lot of cannons. But you know what? These Reapers are, especially with the 3-3 upgrades, they're going to be able to take these out pretty quick. But HuK is, you know, Kurtoff has more. He's warping a lot of units. Just these small engagements, neither player really wanting to commit to anything large. And just dragging out this game to a point where, like, I mean, both of them have such massive funds of cash. And I'm surprised we haven't seen an attempt at a tech transition from either player. HuK has made no attempts whatsoever to harass the economy of ThorZaIN. Well, ThorZaIN has attempted, but look at the resource pool for HuK. I really want to see HuK throw down, like, just like 10 gateways. Like, he's got a lot. How many gateways does he have? Okay, he has an obnoxious number of gateways. HuK's sitting on 17 gateways right now, from what I can tell. That's a lot of gateways. That's enough gateways to fill 34 pop at once. But honestly, with 7,000 minerals, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see HuK. It looks like HuK's ready to engage here. Good EMP going on, but you know what? Actually, it really wasn't that good. He barely got any zealots. It looks like these Vikings are already been stunned. A lot of these Colossi, the Kurtoff army is just plummeting. Look at the food. Absolutely, I don't know to reuse the word, but plummet. It did it sank like a rocket of fuel. ThorZaIN really, I would say living up to his name and just zaning on this guy. He's really raining down on HuK's parade here. Sick EMPs going down. These Colossus are not going to make it to see the other side of these Zealots. There they go. Collapsing in a heap of rubble. And now Zealots and Probes running around. And Zealots and Probes, I mean, when he's, okay, they're not hotkeyed together at least, but when you have Zealots and Probes running around, you're not too much of a pretty situation. But I do like, you know, how quickly he was able to warp in all these charge lots. But the problem is, he just, now look at ThorZaIN. He's sitting on 194 population. He's got 333 upgrades. HuK also sitting, you know, at fully maxed out upgrades here. But just, I don't know exactly, you know, how to say, like, ThorZaIN got the better end of the engagements. But ThorZaIN has definitely played a better game overall. He's just been one step ahead on every expansion. HuK really hasn't had the scouting intel he needed, and now he's just making these poor engagements. Now he's running in with these charge lots. Finally maxed out. So many Archons here. Are these Archons gonna be able to really do that much against so many ghosts and Green Marauder? I don't know. I'm worried these Archons are just gonna fall like leaves in autumn. Looks like they're about to do just that. They do kill a good portion of the army, but with those EMPs dropping, no, those Archons just max out. Now this Nexus is going to fall for HuK, and I think HuK really is starting to realize the desperation of his situation. Running up here, and these Reapers are just there to answer the calling. They're like, oh, we were called to kill probes, and they are going to do just that. So hitting and running these Zealots, they're going to hop across this gap. I don't actually know if they can hop across the gap. They're going to jump up this cliff here. A lot of them actually die in the process. But now, these Marauders, Medivacs, Vikings coming in, and they are going to trap these Chargelets up against these rocks. And wow, HuK is really regretting chasing down those meaningless little Reapers now. So, ThorZaIN bringing in reinforcements from the back now, and that's pretty much going to seal the deal for HuK. Maybe able to fight off a small engagement force here. But, and you know what? I'm actually thinking a lot of... No, it's not tied up. So where is all of ThorZaIN's pop? It's dead. 147 now he's down to. But, you know what? He just has an absolutely flourishing economy. And one of the things about Terran, yeah, they're OP. Because when it gets into a situation like this, I can just call down 1,000,000 mules. And so ThorZaIN's going to have this sick, nasty economy as he calls down all these mules. Just called down 10 mules. And all of a sudden, we're going to see his minerals just absolutely skyrocket. While, you know, HuK's attempting to, like, barely scrape up bones out of the garbage pan. He's collecting soda cans out of people's trash cans to sell them in for money. He's like, I can barely make a penny. And ThorZaIN's just like, oh, yeah, I got these things. They're called mules. They're kind of ridiculous. I can, like, call them down anywhere on the map and just bring in, can you tell? I just, in certain ways, I think Terran's ridiculous. But this usage of mules is really where Terran shines. I mean, mules are cool, you know, Chrono Boost makes up for it, Zerg's ability to macro makes up for it, but when you get to late game Terran in a situation like this, it's like, oh, you lost a bunch of your bases. Well, I just land one and I'll call down all the mules, and now I'm in like such a great situation. And so slowly we're just going to see, he's already maxed, it wasn't slow. We're going to see this Terran force just explode, and HuK just doesn't have the resources to recreate his army, so... This is really going to come down to ThorZaIN pushing, and I'm sure you guys, you know, you don't have to own a crystal ball to see what's going to happen with the rest of this game. HuK really did play a good game. It's just ThorZaIN played this game so excellently. The only thing I kind of do like his usage of the Reapers. I mean, it was a good idea. And he ended up baiting all those charge lots, and so those Reapers really did come in handy, because getting the flank on those charge lots was excellent. So here comes the final engagement. Lots of EMPs going down, and all these forces pretty much have no shield now. You know what? There's an immortal. And there goes the rest of the EMPs, the Colossi, and HuK all leaving at the same time. So, great game by these guys. And you know what? This means there's a game 3, and they've both definitely shown they are quite capable of handling each other. So let's see what they got. Onwards to game 3.